promises to go a little easier on your wallet while earning a degree. Rasha Goel has more. Rasha.
Yana, I'm here at LA City College. Now, we all know college tuition can be expensive and stressful, but through a program called LA College Promise, the first year of tuition is being waived for those students choosing to attend a community college in the LA Unified School District. Crystal Cortez, a high school senior at Hamilton High and one of 6 children in her family, is among those in the program. She is hopeful and relieved about her college career thanks to the launch of the LA College Promise.
This program gives me the opportunity to be able to go to school full time, and I don't have to juggle work and school and taking care of my siblings as well.
No longer will our students have to worry about the financial burdens of what to do about college. They can focus on their education. They'll be welcomed in. They will have a seat in a community college in LA.
9 Los Angeles Community College District schools are part of the program. LA College Promise was inspired by America's College Promise, a national campaign spearheaded by President Barack Obama and chaired by Jill Biden, the wife of Vice President Joe Biden, to make community college free.
This is the promise that you can define your own future without having to worry about being burdened by decades of debt. That you can focus on school rather than having to juggle multiple jobs. And ultimately, we use the word promise because that's what we see in all of you.
This district, who led by the superintendent and this school board, has a 75% graduation rate, the highest that we've had, at least in modern history.
Eligible applicants for free tuition must be part of the 2017 class of graduates at LAUSD schools and qualify for in-state resident tuition. They will also need to complete their FAFSA or California DREAM Act applications.
My main focus with this opportunity, I will only focus on school and myself to make sure my career is fully fulfilled.
A commitment for a promising future. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Now, Mayor Eric Garcetti helped raise about $1.75 million for the initiative through his mayor's fund, enough to pay for at least half of the cost of the program's first year. For more info on the program, go to lacollegepromise.org. While turning now to a hot-button issue for LA homeowners, at first the city said you can build one in your backyard, but then said you can't. The legality of hundreds of granny flats has been in question for months, but the city council may have finally reached a resolution. Gil Reyes has more from Jefferson Park. Gil.
Well, Yana, as of deadline time for the story, it appeared that the LA City Council was going to grant the wishes of around 217 LA City residents who want granny flats or miniature extensions or units to their homes like this one to be built in their backyards. But as for the future of more granny flats moving forward, well, that remains to be seen. On a 12-2 decision, the LA City Council votes in favor of allowing this unfinished granny flat and others in the pipeline to finally be completed.
The action we took today addresses an urgent need, and that is those who have been stuck in limbo.
Councilman Mitch O'Farrell referring to the more than 200 secondary units stuck in legal limbo for months. The city had issued permits for their construction based on California law. But a court ruling earlier this year determined those permits were not valid, based on a contradicting city law. Councilman O'Farrell says he consulted with the city attorney's office and the planning department to create a new ordinance, one that allows those units in question plus 17 more to finally be built.
It changes some minor language that we think will be more legally strong.
But Sarah Mansouri, whose granny flat was one of those in limbo, isn't convinced yet by the council's vote.
It does give me encouragement, but I'm very uncertain because every week that I show up here, something comes up. Somebody delays it or they add an amendment.
John Grikorchuk says he's invested $60,000 so far on his unfinished flat in Jefferson Park. And if there are more delays, it could cost him a lot more.
If that doesn't happen, then I'm in violation of my contract with my bank, so they increase my interest rates, and they could, they could foreclose if they really wanted to.
As far as additional granny flats moving forward, O'Farrell says the planning department is working on rules that will hopefully address the concerns of every neighborhood in the city.
One of the issues that one of my colleagues has is a constituent who has a so-called monstrosity in the backyard next door. So I think we should take a look at limiting height. We need to address the very real concern that some of my colleagues have in their districts so that you don't end up with two mansions on a lot.
In Jefferson Park, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The City Lab think tank at UCLA says more granny flats could help Mayor Garcetti achieve his goal of 100,000 new housing units by 2021. Well, imagine for a second not having access to the internet at home. It's hard to imagine not having internet even for a few minutes. But many low-income families in East LA live without internet connection every day. But not anymore. Anna Marcos has more on a pilot project that's helping families get connected.
Lisette Morris is trying out her brand new access from AT&T internet service as one phone company bigwig looks on. But wait a minute, why are there so many VIPs, including Mayor Eric Garcetti, at Lisette's house, helping her celebrate her new internet service? Well, for one, it's a huge leap over the digital divide for low-income residents at the Estrada Courts housing development. This is a pilot program run by AT&T and the Housing and Urban Development Department to hook up the World Wide Web for those who couldn't otherwise afford it.
It relieves me, to not have to always be at school, not always have to be at a coffee shop, being able to stay home and just work from home.
In this 21st century, that having internet access at home really, as many people have said, is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity.
For Lisette, it beats doing homework on your phone as she used to do.
I can do my homework on my computer now. I don't have to be on my phone using all my data. I can have a lot of apps.
You just can't be successful in a school environment today without readily made available access to the internet.
And the price is right, too. Low-income residents who qualify pay only $10 a month for the access from AT&T Internet service. Apparently, even Lisette's Spanish-speaking mom is now getting cyber-savvy.
She searches up for her novelas. She searches up new recipes to cook for us.
The program is part of an even larger campaign by HUD called the Connect Home Initiative to get low-income communities connected to the information superhighway. And along with AT&T, HUD will host 30 of these events in pilot communities over the next year.
Thank you so much for sharing your stories with us. We at AT&T appreciate being part of the family.
And Lisette's family is already feeling the rewards of being more electronically interconnected. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
To find out if you qualify for the Access from AT&T Internet program, visit att.com/access or call 855-220-5211. Well, cleaner water, greener streets, and some extra science experiments for the kids. The LA Department of Water and Power's new 99th Street water treatment plant in Watts promises all of that and a jump to a more modern water system. Anna Marcos takes us to the groundbreaking.
This is groundbreaking indeed. Soon, all the hustle and bustle at this construction site will create the new 99th Street water treatment plant in South LA. LADWP crews are working to convert the city's drinking water disinfection system from chlorine to something called chloramine, which just means better drinking water for Watts. The Watts area has one of the last chlorine water systems left in LA.
Chloramines are really the disinfectant going into the future, and for us, they're longer lasting.
Our mission at LADWP is to provide safe, reliable, cost-effective water and power.
Residents won't actually be able to taste the difference in the water, but it will improve water quality standards and create fewer byproducts, which means healthier drinking.
It'll help us ensure that we have clean, high-quality water.
And students at the nearby 99th Street School will also see benefits from the project. They will get to conduct science experiments in the DWP's mobile water testing lab, and they can look forward to a greener school environment as well.
We are also equally excited to receive some free trees via LADWP's City Plants program, so that we can create a green outdoor classroom.
After this new plant, crews will still have one more plant to convert to create drinking water throughout LA that meets the highest new standards in water regulations. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Chloramine, by the way, is a combination of chlorine and ammonia and is a lot more stable than chlorine. While the City Council throws its support behind a Metro ballot measure, connecting seniors to each other and city services, and a new service center in downtown LA is helping homeless pet owners take care of their pets. All this in City Beat. The Los Angeles City Council threw its support behind Metro's November 8th ballot measure asking voters to hike the sales tax a half a cent in order to pay for public transit projects. Measure M needs the support of 2/3 of voters to win approval. If passed, the measure would enact a half-cent sales tax hike to fund a package of transportation improvements that include new rail and bus lines, highway improvements, and street repairs. More than 100 seniors from the 13th District joined Councilmember Mitch O'Farrell in Elysian Park for a resource fair that aimed to provide seniors with greater access and information to city and other supportive social services. The second annual fair included a performance by Senior Star Power, a troupe of professional actors and performers who entertain the crowd. A group of consumer advocates also acted out a public service announcement about senior scams.
Access to information is vital for us to learn about not just the services, but also grow with our age.
A downtown resource center for low-income and homeless pet owners is now open once a week at the Inner City Law Center offices, offering help with veterinary care, animal registration, pet supplies, and other needs. The Pet Resource Center is staffed by trained volunteer counselors from the group Downtown Dog Rescue, which works with low-income individuals who own pets. The center, located at 1309 East 7th Street, is open Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visitors to the center will get free spay and neuter vouchers provided by the Los Angeles Animal Services Center, help with first-time animal registration, and more.
And then any other type of housing-related legal assistance that Inner City Law Center can provide to those people that they may be facing homelessness due to any type of pet issues that they may be having.
Well, it's not enough to beautify great streets. You also have to consider the needs of shops that do business along those corridors. That's why the city is stepping in to help these local businesses with loans of up to $250,000. Gil Reyes explains the Great Streets, Great Business program.
This new loan program made a believer out of Highland Park business owner Ruben Herrera.
I apply, I just get all my paperwork, and it's true.
Herrera, the owner of Devon Glass and Mirror on North Figueroa, applied for a loan and actually got it. He can thank the city's Great Streets program, a plan to spruce up 15 of the city's busiest streets with new planters, outdoor seating, artwork, and street improvements to entice more people to walk, bike, and shop in these neighborhoods. Now add another perk, loans. Between $1,000 and $250,000 loans for businesses located along these corridors. Mayor Eric Garcetti originated the Great Streets idea as a councilman, beautifying and providing financial help to the then struggling community of Atwater Village. The area has thrived ever since.
We saw that steady working with the businesses that were already there, or improving the pedestrian experience, or making things safer, or celebrating the art, could bring investment back.
The Great Streets, Great Business program also offers lease negotiation for companies.
Putting together a business plan, putting together a real financial plan, understanding what the market opportunities are. And there's some resources available to help small businesses do that. They don't have to do it by themselves.
Ruben Herrera says his loan will allow him to hire more than 12 new workers, something he never thought would be possible.
Honestly, I don't believe much, but when they told me about all these things and it's come through, like, wow, we need to tell everybody, come and apply.
On North Figueroa, one of the city's 15 great streets, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
And the city is collaborating with the Valley Economic Development Center to offer loans, about $4 million worth. To see if your business qualifies, log on to vedc.org/greatstreets. Well, what do the LA Dodgers and the LA City Library have in common? Well, motivating kids to read, of course, and so far the Dodgers have hit a home run. It was a blue day at the Arroyo Seco Branch Library, Dodger blue that is, as Dodgers manager Dave Roberts and his family read to local kids as part of the LA Public Library's Summer Reading Club.
This book is a little bit of American baseball and a little bit of Japanese baseball. In America, we drive to the game in our long blue station wagon. In Japan, we ride to the game in a short red bus. Literacy and reading, and it's very familiar and personal. And so I think that for us to have the opportunity to kind of be more familiar with the kids, it's just a great experience for everyone. In America, we cheer, get a hit, win, 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 go for it. In Japan, we cheer, do your best.
This is part of an initiative that the Los Angeles Dodgers Foundation has with the Library Foundation of Los Angeles. Literacy is a really big part of the foundation's focus in our work.
The Dodgers' special contribution to the library's summer reading program is called Read for the Win, and includes not only members of the Dodger family reading to kids across the entire library system, but game tickets, hats, and stickers for the young readers as well.
I think having the importance of reading and why books are important and why it's so important for young people to read is a message that everyone is responsible for, and we want everyone to carry that message. Certainly our mayor carries that message when he speaks to audiences, and it's great to hear the Dodgers communicate that message too.
And when the reading was all done, it was time for a Dodger tradition.
Forwards 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
The library's summer reading program ran through August 6th. Well, from reading to dancing, as folks boogied on down to Northeast LA for a free weekend of outdoor performances. Gil Reyes has more from the Latin Jazz and Music Festival.
This festival in Highland Park lured Tomas and Pauline Cesares out of their home and onto the dance floor.
Tomas loves music, and he said there's going to be a festival at Sycamore Park. I said, where is that? He said, off of Figueroa. We said, vámonos. We got in our car, got our stuff together, aquí estamos. We love the city of Los Angeles.
The Latin Jazz and Music Festival was all about expressing this Northeast LA community's eclectic vibe.
They have a combination of various types of music. It's not just salsa, Latin jazz, and of course we had Cold Duck, which is sort of a top 40 band, which is phenomenal, and one of the biggest dance floors anywhere around.
Funding is not city funding. We've got sponsors, plenty of generous sponsors, community partners that see our vision of bringing culture and art to our district. They have generously donated and made this possible.
The Office of Councilmember Gilbert Cedillo organized the event on this, its third year. There were 13 acts over one weekend.
And I think the musicians are amazing, and they're not appreciated enough in our community. And the fact that Gil Cedillo chooses to use his money and resources this way is awesome to support local talent.
And it generates a lot of interest, especially with the culture and the music, because it's all what? It's all one thing, universal, right? Dance is universal, music's universal.
In Highland Park, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Well, satisfy your cravings for fresh pasta and sweet sausage as an Italian festival dishes out all your favorites. see your favorite podcaster in person, and enjoy some smooth jazz at one of LA's coolest venues. All this in this week's Things to Do. Garlic and pasta lovers, it's the weekend you've been waiting for. The Galbani Italian Feast of San Gennaro, Los Angeles unleashes everything Italian culture has to offer during one tasty weekend. In 2002, some of LA's most prominent Italian-American citizens got together and produced the first annual Feast of San Gennaro in Los Angeles, offering 3 days of enjoyment for the entire family. So join friends and family and celebrate Italian culture, food and entertainment, live music, street performers, strolling musicians, a kids' corner, and many rides and games. In addition to sampling wine from local wineries and food from some of LA's best Italian restaurants, guests can learn recipes from the cooking stage. It all takes place September 23rd to the 25th in Hollywood. For more, visit feastofla.org. Los Angeles Podcast Festival, the premier live podcasting event, brings together the biggest names in podcasting for a week-long blowout in LA, ground zero for a medium where many of the top shows are based. The annual festival unites podcasters, their special guests, fans, and the podcasting industry to celebrate all things podcasting. It all happens September 23rd to the 25th at the Sofitel Hotel located at 8555 Beverly Boulevard. For more, visit lapodfest.com. Jazz at LACMA features the art of jazz as practiced by leading Southern California artists. Celebrating over 20 years at LACMA, the program continues to be one of the museum's most recognizable offerings. Jazz at LACMA is a celebration of LA's finest jazz musicians. So relax and enjoy some jazz for free on Friday, September 23rd and the 30th. For more, visit lacma.org. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kay, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
Property theft has spiked in the area the past year due to easy access for thieves. Almost 80% of car theft occurs because of unlocked doors. Locking your doors takes a matter of seconds and can become so routine that you may forget whether you locked your doors or not. But it's worth the effort to double check. The more successful thieves are at taking items out of a car, the more chances they are going to come back to that area. Don't let our town be that area. One simple precaution is to hide or cover any valuable items when leaving your car unattended. Simple actions like these can prevent you from becoming a victim of property theft. The Los Angeles Police Department would like you to remember, lock it or lose it.
Don't worry, Patty. This isn't going to hurt me one bit. Hi, I'm Dr. Eric Shapiro in beautiful Encino, and you're watching LA City View, Channel 35. Our city, our channel.
Sergeants, please call the members. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is Friday, September 23rd. I'd like to welcome you to your Los Angeles City Council. This council meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. The public is welcome. Madam Clerk, we do have a quorum. Would you please call the roll?
Blumenfield, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Harris, Dawson, Weezer, Koretz, Krikorian, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rue, Wesson. 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. Okay, the first order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Ms. Martinez moves and Mr. Rue seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Bonin moves and Mr. Harris Dawson seconds. Continue.
Mr. President, there are requests to continue 1A to October 11, 2016, and to reduce the lien for 1D to $2,713.88 due to partial payment, and to continue 1D to October 21st, 2016, sir.
Okay, so without objection, that shall be the order. Continue.
Item number 1 is an item notice for public hearing.
You have cards?
Yes, sir, there are cards.
Continue.
Items 2 through 5 are items which public hearings have been held.
Okay, members, specials 2 through 5. I do not see any, so let us prepare to vote on these items. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Continue.
Mr. President, for the record, there was an ordinance on item 2, and that will be held over to September 30th. Next are items 6 through 9, and those are items which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are now before this body. Do we have cards on these items?
Yes, sir. There are cards on 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Okay, we will hold those items. Let me look at the time. Continue.
Mr. President, would council like to recess the regular and go into the special?
Not at this time.
Or go into presentation, sir?
Okay, at this point in time, I think we do want to go into the presentation portion of today's agenda. So I'm looking for Ms. Martinez. Are you ready? So, Ms. Martinez, the floor is yours.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, colleagues. Today, I'd like to recognize International Brotherhood of Teamsters and celebrate Teamsters Women's Day. This year, the Teamsters are hosting their National Women's Conference here in Los Angeles. This conference is an opportunity to bring women from throughout the union together in an effort to inspire, encourage, celebrate, and build relationships from all walks of life and career paths. The International Brotherhood of Teamsters has gathered women from across our nation to this conference for the past 15 years. Throughout our state's history, the contribution of Teamster women in our workplace and communities have proven invaluable. Thanks to the work of labor unions like the Teamsters, the gap between women and men who participate in the labor force has steadily narrowed in Los Angeles. On a national level, we are seeing the number of women who hold college degrees and work triple between 1970 and 2010. Unions like the Teamsters have made it possible for the salaries held by women to continually increase for future generation of women to achieve an education and a career here in our country. In many male-dominated industries, it is often hard for women to get their foot in the door. So for young women to even consider a career in this industry sometimes looks impossible. But I often have a say that says something like this: you can't be what you cannot see. Today, I recognize the Teamsters for providing avenues and opportunities for the women in their union to come together as a collective voice and lift each other within their union. Together, they can share experiences and work together to bring more opportunities for women who will follow in their paths into the union. So thank you, Mr. Rendon, for being here today, and thank you to the Teamsters for celebrating the women that make up the union in this year's Teamsters Women's Conference here in Los Angeles. I'd like to introduce Mr. Rendon from Joint Council 42 to say a few words. Also with us is Ed Duffrey from Local 399 as well. And we are also going to be hearing from Marcy Newman, who's with Local 853. Ed?
Wonderful, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman, and to the entire Council. This is quite an honor, a beautiful certificate. We're in the midst of our conference right now. There's 1,500 women from all over the country, including Canada. We're an international union, and this is going to be welcomed really nicely over there when we take it back. So thank you so much, and I want to have Marcy Newman say a few words.
Come on.
Thank you so much for this honor. I'm proud to be one of the representatives at the Teamster Women's Conference, and I'm proud that we got this honor today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So on behalf of the Los Angeles City Council and Mayor Garcetti, I'd like to present our Teamster Women's Day to the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. Thank you very much, colleagues. Drop it a little bit. There you go.
Miss Martinez,
Oh, sorry.
They moved too quick. I would like to recognize Council Member O'Farrell.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. I just want to rise and salute my sister, Kelly Badley, who is a Teamster in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and has worked for Yellow Freight for many, many years. The hardest working woman I know, my sister Kelly, and I want to stand and salute her, and all the women of the Teamsters. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, and congratulations. Mr. Cedillo, were you ready to proceed? Then the floor is yours.
Mr. President, as you know, it's Hispanic Heritage Month, which means all the great countries that make up part of Latin America and Europe are celebrating. And so this Sunday, September 25th, the Honduran community in Los Angeles is going to celebrate what we call El Día de Honduran Day, Day of the Honduran, with a community celebration in MacArthur Park called Juntos con Honduras, Together with Honduras. And the Honduran community in Los Angeles has established itself into the city's fabric. Through its culture, its tradition, they've made it their home. Together with Honduras started in 2003 with the Honduran Embassy in Washington, D.C., and it's the most important Honduran event in the United States. Together with Honduras, we will be celebrating in Los Angeles for the first time with thousands of people who are expected to attend a day full of culture, music, and typical Honduran food. With us today, we have representatives from the Honduran community, and I would like to introduce Consul General Pablo Ordóñez to share a few words about this event. Council.
Welcome.
Thank you. It is a great honor for me to be standing here with you today and be the recipient of this beautiful recognition. The Honduran community is a thriving community that is a growing community in the city of Los Angeles. And on behalf of the Honduran community, I would like to thank this city for being a welcoming city to our citizens. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Betsy. Oh, here we go. Thank you, Mr. President. Vamos atrás, todos.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez, and thank you, Mr. Cedillo. Madam Clerk, what I'd like to do at this time is recess the regular meeting and go into the special meeting.
Blumenfeld, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Harris Dawson, Weezer, Kretz, Krikorian, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rue, Wesson, 11 members and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you, and I'd also like to ask Mr. Englander if you would make your way to the President's chair. I have a request that I want to make directly to Mr. Spindler, to Mr. Walsh. We have the family. We're getting ready to do an adjourning motion. We have the mother of Lance Corporal Segovia with us today. We will allow you to give public comment, but I want you to be very sensitive to them. And if there was ever an opportunity for you to show some humanity, it would be today.
Okay, so public hearing has not been held on this item, and
10 votes are required for consideration,
we'll go ahead
sir.
and consider that then. So without objection, that'll be the order. All right, so with that, let's do this. Do you want to? I'm going to have the family sit down for a moment because we do have general public comment on this, and we're going to have Mr. Walsh come on up. Wayne, please. You've already been asked. Show some respect and dignity, please. See if we can get through this.
John Walsh at HollywoodHighlands.org. This is another reward. These rewards are almost never collected for the simple reason that the gangs murdered this gentleman, this Marine. The gangs murdered him. This isn't a man who was walking in the street. This is a man who was protected by Obama. This is a man who wore our uniform. We need an investigation by the FBI. We need an investigation by the Marines because you never catch these people. You never pay out these rewards. We want it now. We think very much. Look, let me tell you, I just want the world to know that the gangs run the streets here in L.A. They murder anybody they want west of La Brea, east of La Brea. West of La Brea in the rich neighborhood, that's another story. Because I just hope the parents understand that they need to get up. And
thank you. That was your 1 minute. Thank you very much.
I suggest
Thank
Donald
you, Mr. Walsh.
Trump.
Thank you very much, Mr. Walsh. Thank you. Have a seat. Thank you. Thank you. Have a seat. Have a seat. Let's try this again. Mr. Previn. Eric?
Yes, it's Eric Previn from the 2nd Council District. I live in Studio City, and this is a terrible story, and we have, nothing but sympathy for the family, who I guess technically becomes a Gold Star family now. This is just a devastating series of events. We try every single day to make it so that things like that can't happen and don't happen here in Los Angeles City and County. And, we have to try harder to protect one another, and we have to make decisions that result in outcomes that are more favorable. This is a crime. I hope that the federal investigators are able to apprehend the people who did this, and we can move forward and lend our support for the family. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Previn. Mr. Spindler.
So, that's what you call respect, right? So, an armed Marine, and they're always armed. Funny how you can gun down a Marine. That's bullshit.
Mr. Spindler, please.
You cannot gun down a Marine unless he's assassinated. So this man was taken out by somebody. Who? We don't know. But whoever the hell it is, the U.S. Marine Corps and the Secretary of Defense and the Defense Department and FBI need to come here to the city and find out why are active members of the military being assassinated within the city limits of Los Angeles. Look up the case of Alice Hill versus City of Los Angeles. A man in a federal case was assassinated 2 days before his deposition. This is the second time now in this year.
Thank you, Mr. Spindler.
It's important that this be seen. Things should not happen this way. Parents should never have to bury their children. It is the absolute worst thing imaginable. So to Ms. Lopez and her family, on behalf of the Los Angeles City Council, I want you to know that you have our condolences. We feel your pain, and we grieve with you. It seems like whenever something like this occurs, it's always one of the good ones. It's always one special someone whose life is ahead of them, who has been said by individuals that he served in the Marines with, that the sky was the limit, that his future was bright, and he was well on his way to becoming a very productive and positive influence, not just in this city, but on this country. And I'm referring to Lance Corporal Carlos Segovia, who was gunned down on September 16th. And Ms. Lopez, we do succeed in finding perpetrators of these crimes when we offer rewards, because there are so many decent Angelenos that their heart breaks along with yours. If anyone happens to hear this on the radio, see this on television, read this in the newspaper, and has any information, any data, please call the Los Angeles Police Department, and we will give you the number shortly. Please call. Don't try to sort out yourself if you think this makes sense or not. Give that information to the professionals and let them work through this. There is nothing that we can do to change what occurred on September 16th. All we can attempt to do are a couple of things. We can try to bring some closure to this mom and this family, and we can catch the idiots who believe that it is okay to take a life. So again, if you hear this on the radio, you see it on television, you read about it in the paper, please help us bring some closure and help us find peace and help us catch these criminals so that they do not do it again. I would like to bring up, to give more particulars, Captain Whittingham, who it's his people are engaged in this investigation. So if I could ask Captain Whittingham to please come forward.
Mr. President and honorable member of the council, thank you so very much. My name is Peter Whittingham. I'm the commanding officer of the Criminal Gang Homicide Division in South Bureau. We investigate all homicides in South Bureau. In addition to my two partners, Lieutenant Opelt and Senior Detective Rick Gordon, I have the family here with me, Sandra, the mother, young sister, 13-year-old Cynthia, and a friend, Claudia, who will speak in a minute. I also have with me a gentleman who represents the Commission on Veterans, Antonio Zapata, who has been very helpful. Let me say this before I ask the mother to say a few words. Young 19-year-old Carlos, Lance Corporal Carlos, was the 75th murder year to date in South Bureau. It is particularly touching and grieving for all of us because here you have a young man who committed his life to serve this country, yet his life was taken on the street of his own community by members of his own community. This is an additional appeal to the conscience of all the good people of this community. Send a message that this is not who we are, and we will not accept or tolerate this in this city. In spite of our best effort, we have not yet located any evidence, witness, video that would lead us in a direction as to who is responsible for this senseless act. And so, in addition to the words of the Council President, on behalf of all of us, this is another appeal to the good people of the city to come forward and provide information to us. And the contact number is 323-786-5110. That is the number into my office directly to the detectives who are responsible for this case. And we need all the help that we can get. Again, thank you so very much, Council Member.
Repeat the number, Captain, please.
Again, the number directly to the detectives handling this case, 323-786-5110. And now I will have Sandra, the mother, say a few words.
I like to thank Mayor, City Council, Los Angeles. I like to thank the community. I like to thank Los Angeles Police Department and all the people that are been supporting me. Will be harder if I, didn't feel the support that you've been giving me. Carlos was a wonderful son, wonderful friend, wonderful brother. He was a giving person. He just give, and he never ask to have any return. So he got into the Marines because it wasn't enough for him for what he was, doing for the community. And so he wanted to help more and more because he always feel that he is a U.S. citizen. So he wanted to do as much as he could for our country. So he said, I have to get into the military so I can do that. So he decided to do it, and he was doing pretty good. I'd like to thank for all the support that you've been giving, but we still need your help to get justice. And help for our family is if somehow we can get some financial or resources help, so we could to do that. We organizing his funeral, and we want to honor him as he deserved it. So thank you so much for all your support. I appreciate it.
Ms. Lopez, all of our hearts ache for you and your family. So again, to the public, after we take this official action today, we will have a reward available of $50,000 to anyone that gives us any information that leads to the capture and the conviction of these criminals. Captain, was there another member of the family that was going to speak, or the family friend?
Carlos's 13-year-old sister wants to say a few words.
Okay, my brother wasn't only my brother, he was more like my hero. He was a hero to everyone, and whoever did this to him was really careless. And I guess they didn't think about it before they shoot him. I think they didn't think twice, because my brother also put his life to risk for those people that shot him too. He was a very great help to everyone. And I want to thank whoever is helping and donating. I really want to thank you guys, because my brother didn't deserve this at all. And thank you once again.
Thanks. One more comment. One more comment from.
Okay, if I can get this, Antonio, from the Veterans Commission of the county to come forward.
I think Antonio has defaulted to the friend Claudia, who's a friend of the family.
Please come forward.
Thank you, City Council. Carlos was a community leader, a mentor, a motivator. He helped many of our teens go on the right path. He did so much for our community. It's a huge loss for us right now. He never think twice to go out there and help people who were struggling, or any teenagers who were going through some hard times. Carlos was a type that wanted to get everyone involved. He brought numerous amounts of friends to volunteer as well. And he helped create a group called Teen Project, which helps the teens from the community be involved and help other people. It's been really hard on everyone, and we still can't believe what happened to him. We will do our best to continue and keep his legacy alive, and get other kids from the community to continue to get involved and follow his footsteps as well. He was a great person, someone who we will miss dearly, and we are devastated, and we're heartbroken, and we thank you guys for having the support and for helping us. Just don't give up on this. We need justice. I think everyone who is touched by him, who cares so much about him, wants some justice. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Antonio Chapa. I'm an 8-year Marine Corps veteran, and I'm also one of the 10 Veterans Advisory Commissioners for the County of Los Angeles. I'm going to speak a little bit on behalf of the Marine Corps family, and that's what it is. We've had numerous Marines, active duty and veterans, who had served one point during their time, come to the family and express their condolences. The Marines down at Camp Pendleton, where Carlos was going through recon training, have come up numerous times, and they will continue to come and support the family. There is a saying that President Ronald Reagan said, that most people live an eternity not knowing if they made a difference. The Marines do not have that problem. I know Carlos does not have that problem. He did not. He did a lot of things in his short career before and during his Marine Corps life. So with that, on behalf of the Marine Corps and the Marine Corps family and all veterans who have served at one point and their families, we're thankful for his service. We're thankful for his family allowing him to be shared with us, the Marines. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. President, if you could call for the vote.
Yes. Before I do that, and I just wanted to say a word, you mentioned something when you opened up saying it's the worst thing to ever do is to bury a child. And you also said that oftentimes these rewards do lead to the tips, information, apprehension, and ultimately the conviction. I stood there, Ms. Lopez, as a family member, asking this council, before I was on the council, many years ago, to offer a reward motion leading to the apprehension and conviction of a veteran who was gunned down here. That was my uncle. And that case was solved with the help of public and many others. And Cynthia, to you, to your bravery for coming here today as well with your mom and what you're going through. This is City Families behind you, all 100%. And with that, Mr. Weston, thank you for bringing everybody forward. And we'll go ahead and open the vote, close the vote, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That reward motion is approved. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So it's been approved. Are we going in the back?
We'll, per Mr. Wesson, we'll go ahead and send that forthwith without objection. That'll be the order.
Mr. President, would council like to adjourn the special and resume the regular meeting, sir?
Yes, please. We'll go ahead and do that. Thank you, Madam Clerk. And with that, which items do we have left now?
Mr. President, council has called special for cards items 1, 6, 7, 8, and 9, sir.
All right, we'll go ahead with 1 minute each. We'll start off with Mr. Walsh. Items 1, 6, 7, 8, and 9 for a minute each. 1 minute per item. And please stay on the items. I'm not going to warn and give any warnings to any folks. I'll do it all now. If you're off topic, you'll forfeit all your time. So you'll stay on the topic, on the agenda item for that minute. And there won't be any warnings. Thank you very much.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org or J. Walsh Confidential, tweeting at Hollywood Dems, number 1. Again, you do a good job on these code violations, and when you do a good job, I always congratulate you. On renters, I've never had any trouble with the city. They've helped me keep the apartment up to code. For quite some years. Number 7. This is a tentative tract map. Usually, it doesn't have any details, but it's on Sunset Boulevard. This means often means that you don't like your code, and you go to your city councilman and the plum, and you get a tiny little change, and then all of a sudden the people in your neighborhood notice a high-rise going up because they didn't check the extension of time to act. When it says extension of time, that means it's run out. In other words, if you don't pay off and give your city Rue or Weezer some money, you're out of luck. You're not going to get the change you want. Number 8, filling a vacancy. This somebody has to run the office of the city councilman who has left, and that will be decided by Wesson. The name of the person is not up here. And number 9, these are the maps in the council district. These things are very, very important. The only reason you don't have a high-rise across the street from you, and now they have them on the west side, they're moving over there. They've half finished with the blacks, now they're going over to take over the Jewish neighborhood.
Stay on the topic, and again, if you're not on it, you're done.
Final maps, so check all these maps. These map 2007, 1861, Federal Avenue, northerly of Olympic Boulevard. Remember, that's not in the black territory. And now I want to forfeit the rest of my time and go into my 1 minute of my 1 minute of public comment. Are you ready? Okay.
Ready.
Number one, no other city in America has had a Marine shot down in the street. The streets of L.A. are more dangerous than the streets of Baghdad, the streets in Syria, the streets all over the Middle East. This is where you get killed, and the same thing happens here as happens over there. Nobody is going to open their mouth. And I want to say, if anybody has any information, what you must do is go directly to the federal government. You must go directly to the FBI. And I ask personally, Hillary Clinton, we want a LA that's as safe as Baghdad. It isn't as safe now. You don't know. And I want to ask Donald Trump, if you're what you say you are, I want you to talk out about Mr. Segovia. Because in this city, we are in more danger of being killed if we're a Marine. Hollywood Highlands.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. All right, Mr. Spindler. Items 1, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 1 minute each. Stay on topic, please. We are very close to losing a quorum. I want to make sure we stay on topic. If we're not, that's why I'm not giving the 5 warnings we usually do. Thanks.
All right. So we have item 1, liens, CD1, CD8, 9, and there's 2 and 8. And I've had this discussion before with the great representative from CD8, Marquise Harris Dawson. We've got to start waiving these liens. Get into that slush fund. Set up a defense account. Whatever it takes. Start slashing these liens for the people of CD8 because you know how to raise money and you can do it. All you got to do is the magic words. I'm saving somebody's home from foreclosure. Magic words. Then we got CD9, Current Price. I just wish that Current Price would keep living up to his billing as the new 9th because there's a lot of liens coming out of there and they're big numbers. Then we got CD1, but I haven't seen Cedillo willing to waive these liens. But Marquise is working
You're on item 6
it.
now.
Marquise is working good on that. Okay. So now we got number 6. The rent escrow account. Yay! So we got, 3 of them from CD8. They're getting out of the program now. Why? Because, again, and this is a good thing, Marquise Harris Dawson has been putting his foot...
Please address all the members, please.
He's the councilman from CD8 who is putting his foot on the neck of these wayward rental projects that are out of compliance, and they're getting their shit together. Before, in CD8, you had the former police chief Parks, and he didn't care about anybody except the Baldwin Hills area. But the new guy...
Next item, please.
He stays a lot of times, goes to a lot of meetings.
Okay, you're off topic.
You
You didn't go on to the next item. I'm going to cut your time if there's another warning. Watch your time.
8. Number 8 in the Mayor Sam blog. Major story. Herman, Little Amin Wesson taking over CD7. Holy shit. You mean that CD7 is going to be actively taken over by the council president without a vote? I don't understand something like this. Are we living in fucking Cuba? Are we living in Pakistan? The voters of CD7 don't want this. We don't have a vote. They're not going to have a representative for at least May, because there's going to be a runoff. There's an election coming up. I agree with the council president that we should not spend the money in a special election.
Nick,
I agree.
Watch your time, Wayne. Next item, please.
I agree with that. And then we get number 9, the parcel map on Federal Avenue. Well, look at this. $5,268 for that kind of real estate? What the hell is this? Somebody's getting a goddamn break on these Quimby fees, people. Goddamn things should be $30,000, $40,000. Those are $1 million properties. You're getting a $5,268. I think that Bonin's giving somebody a break on some of this shit. I just don't think it's good business for the city. But again, like CD7, they need to be represented. Mike Bonin, resign and let these Quimby fees be properly collected. Absolute necessary. Then we get, again, as I stated before, if you know anything out there about the shooting of this Marine, do not go to the LAPD and the Sheriff's Department. Call the FBI and seek protection first, because a great, great man named Leroy Hill, who was a witness in the Ezell Ford case 2 days before his deposition, was murdered. A witness in a federal case was murdered. These people are covering this up. And this man, being a federal employee, a great man, a veteran, an active member of the military, has been assassinated. So do not trust these jackals. You know about this shooting, contact the FBI and seek protection.
Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend. Antonio Ramirez on items 7, 8, and 9.
Goodness gracious. Thank you very much. 1 minute, bloody hell. Number 7. Again, in the tentative tract map appeal of property on Sunset Boulevard. First of all, why don't we start cleaning up Sunset Boulevard? Make it more desirable. It is filthy, full of feces. You got a lot of wetbacks and a lot of gangbangers. Make it pleasant for the tenants and all the surrounding neighbors. Again, it is dilapidated. Sunset is crucially damaged, destroyed, and it stinks like feces and urine. It is shameful. Such a beautiful street that used to be glamorous and opulent during the 20s and 30s, and it was just beautiful.
Mr. President, we're veering off.
Sorry,
topic.
and
yeah, if you're off topic, we're gonna forfeit your time, as I've warned.
Okay,
so
number 8.
You know.
Thank you, as always. Number 8. Here we're talking about the 7th District. Herb Wesson is trying to take over Felipe Fuentes' former position. I say hell no. First, we applaud Felipe Fuentes for getting the hell out of, because he was only money conscious and self-serving leech. We're delighted that he's gone. He was of no use and of no service. And furthermore, he's a wetback and needs to be deported. Secondly, Herb Wesson, if you're going to run for the 7th Council District, like you run the council chambers with constant interruptions, full censorship, no transparency, and cutting corners, you will only further escalate the unavoidable impending doom and bankruptcy of the city of Los Angeles. And you will add more decent, law-abiding citizens to the streets in homelessness and put more military veterans to an early grave due to the crime escalation. And that truly is a shame. You ought to reflect and take some time off and think of what you have done, which is political malfeasance and official malfeasance. That is sad. I wouldn't want to take that to my grave. And public comments. Number 9. Can we get final maps on all wetbacks and gangbangers? Having said that, I'm 1 minute. My public comments. This is a matter of principle. Problems again arise at the Music Center Grand Park Block 4 females bathroom. I just finished complaining to Officer Juan Pablo Antuñez regarding the Salvadoreño wetback housekeeping employee who maliciously again popped his head in at 7:55 a.m. and 8:25 a.m. He entered the female bathroom unannounced and emptied the trash can while I was in the bathroom, and maybe other ladies too. He runs with the paisas and all the other gangs. Marta, Rosa, Maria, and the gardeners are all wicked, and they run with gangs. In addition, Rosa Torres charged like a raging bull at me on 9/2016 at about 8:40 p.m. As I was leaving the park. She started kicking my shopping cart and knocking it down, indirectly pushing me and threatening me with violence. Jose told her, no, párale, no, párale. LAPD officer Guzman and Castellano came, and of course they blew me off because I'm homeless. And of course they run with the homies. And subsequently, Sergeant Jay Sawada came, and I thank you,
Thank you
Sergeant
very much.
Sawada-san.
Thank you. Have a nice weekend. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Maris. Please no applauding. Mr. Previn, item 7-8, and then public comment. So 3 minutes. 7-8 and public comment.
Thank you, sir. It's Eric Previn from the 2nd District, and I know you're going to lose a quorum, so I'll try to be brief.
Thank you.
Item number 7 is a very short, it's about a month actually, extension on property located at 8150 Sunset Boulevard, the track map. I'm not sure why. They don't explain why, but I assume that Mr. Rue has got that covered. Obviously, he is the new champion for the people in CD4, and we appreciate his attention to that. Item number 8, sir, is problematic, obviously. This is the Wesson, Englander, and Martinez motion to regarding filling the vacant seat that Fuentes, who went up to be a lobbyist in Sacramento. And this is sort of a sidestep of the detail that we're interested in. This seems to say that once somebody's elected, this body will approve that, which is obvious and sort of seems almost moot. Of course that's going to happen. But what it doesn't address is the concern that the public has brought forward about who is representing the 7th District constituents during this period. I don't want to go into the history, but in the 1750s or something, or 60s, the idea of taxation without representation came up. And the question comes into focus. Who is going to vote on behalf of the 7th District constituents? And it can't be Herb Wesson, because he can't vote twice. So I don't know if that was official that he made himself the titular head of 7th District, but that should be undone. We should find a way for somebody to be appointed, somebody perhaps like a CAO, or who could actually vote on behalf of the people who are represented in that district. I'm concerned that taxation without representation is not the American way. Mr. Wesson has his own hands. 10th District is a busy district. He's also the council president. That is an additional workload. And frankly, the people of the 7th District are entitled to a representative who is going to weigh in like you all do on these, like Cedillo and Marquis Aristosan on these items before the body. And there is no representation for those folks. And this was, history of America, and I think that we should just simply find a way to back out of that. Herb Wesson should continue in his role. We should find somebody to represent the people of the 7th District, including Mr. Falble, if you live there, sir. I don't want you to feel unrepresented either.
If the speaker wants to do general public comment.
Okay, I will. At your leisure. Now, or would you like me to...
Yes, please.
Well, let's take the 26 seconds to think about what I said, and then I will start on one solid minute for public comment. So just give me these 20 seconds to quietly ruminate on my brilliant comments about taxation without representation. Okay, I can't wait, so I'm going to jump in. On my general public comment, I just want to thank the many leaders who stood up against the Herbalife tent at a public triathlon.
Thank you very
on
much.
the county
Thank you.
beaches.
Thank you. Your time's up. Have a nice weekend. Thank you. Thank you. Please have a seat. Please have a seat.
Just to make clear, the speaker, as the president noted at the beginning, allotted time for the 2 items. He put cards.
He knows
on,
the rules. He
and
questions these all the
general
time. I
public
don't have to explain them 3 times. Sit down, Mr. Previn. You're done. Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend. You're disrupting the meeting. We're going to ask you to leave. If you want to be escorted out by the sergeants, we can do that as well. I can arrange it. Would you like that? Okay, then go have a seat. In 3, 2, 1, and he's gone. Thank you. Just like that, magic. All right. So with that, we're going to go ahead and open the roll on those remaining items.
Mr. President, just for the record, there was a substitute motion for item number 7, which has been circulated. And what is before council now is item 1, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Mr. President,
Yes.
item 7 needs a separate vote since, due to the substitute motion. So would council like to vote on 1, 6, 8, and 9, sir?
Yes, please. We'll go ahead and open the roll on those. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
And
Now
what-
we'll go ahead and open the roll on item 7. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
What do we have left before us beyond public comment?
Council has motions for posting and referral.
We're going to go ahead and post those and refer those. Colleagues, before I go ahead and go into the remaining public comment cards, I'm going to see if there's any announcements from any of the council members. Mr. Koretz.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to honor some individuals that we have here today, the brave immigrant women janitors, otherwise known as Las Promotoras, who were the crusaders for the passage of AB 1978, a bill authored by Assemblymember Gonzalez, signed by Governor Brown on September 15th, which will help educate workers in the janitorial industry on their rights when it comes to sexual harassment, assault, including rape. I think people were not aware before this effort came forward of how vulnerable women in the janitorial industry are in the middle of the night and how rapes and assaults frequently take place. Their voices allowed this legislation to pass. Their courage in doing a week-long fast at the Capitol brought attention to this. And so we commend their advocacy of workers' rights, their fasting. We congratulate SEIU, United Service Workers West, and janitors throughout the state. And Ms. Martinez, the seconder on the resolution that I am introducing today in recognition of these courageous women, will read the names of the women present with us today.
Okay.
Que viva la mujer. No las oigo. Que viva. Thank you very much, Mr. Koretz, for bringing this important issue forward and for recognizing the women and their efforts to ensure that justice and change when it comes to sexual harassment in the workplace. I want to thank them for their bravery in ensuring the passage of AB 1978, and I'd like to recognize and acknowledge the women who are here with us this morning. If you can just come forward. Dora Díaz, enfrente, nomás para reconocerla. Muchas gracias, Dora Díaz. Leticia Soto. Georgina Hernández. María Nieto. Rosa López. Verónica Lagunas. Anabel Aguirre. María Ortiz. María Estrada. María Vázquez, Marta Mejía, Beatriz Guillín, Jasmine Castillo, Elba Polanco García, María Medrano y Marilyn Rubio. Muchísimas gracias por su esfuerzo y en asegurar el cambio a todas las mujeres que trabajamos, especialmente en el janitorial services. I want to applaud them, members of the council. Can we please give them a big round of applause for their bravery and their courage? Women often lead the way for change, so thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Koretz.
Thank you. Okay. Yes, Mr. Koretz.
I don't know if this is the right time, but I know some of the women in this organization have put in speaker cards. So I don't know if you want to call on them to speak.
When I go back into the public comment, we have a number of public comment cards left, but this is just for council members' announcements. So,
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll come back. In fact, you know what we can do is we've got a number of cards. So we'll go ahead and go back into public comment now. And if there are any more announcements, we can go back into that as well. So for now, if we can have Mr. Huerta, David, please, followed by Jasmine Castillo and Irma Nunez.
Great. Okay.
And, you have a minute.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
President Pro Tem Englander, City Council members, as well as Council Member Paul Koretz and Nuri Martinez. I would like to thank you all for this accommodation today in recognizing the efforts of USWW and Justice for Janitors in amplifying the issue of sexual assault in the workplace and passing of AB 1978. USWW has a strong and proud history of fighting for justice. It started back in 1990 in the streets of Los Angeles, and since then we have been a champion in fighting for justice bigger than ourselves. It was the imperative of us fighting as an organization for something bigger than what was at the bargaining table. It's something that was going to take, we were going to take on the underground economy that exploited the most vulnerable amongst us, and that is immigrant workers. Last year, we called attention to wage theft, and this year we called attention to the issue of sexual assault in the workplace. Women in our industry were under attack because they were women working in a predominantly women workforce, supervised by male supervisors, and being immigrants who...
Yeah, thank you. I have to leave it at the minute.
Okay,
that's what I did for everybody else.
I would just really like to acknowledge the promotoras, their bravery in the work that they've done to call attention to not only for themselves, but a whole industry and immigrant women. Ya basta, we will no longer continue to be scapegoated for the wrongs in this, in this society. Thank you.
It is my honor to be here today as a private citizen, joining my council member Paul Koretz and my students' council member Nuri Martinez in thanking these powerful, humble women for their selfless sacrifice and commitment to advocating for workers' rights. Their courage and leadership has brought the issue of sexual assault and rape in the janitorial industry into the light, beginning the process of creating critical dialogue and necessary change in our society. When I attended the screening of the award-winning PBS Frontline documentary, Rape on the Night Shift, I was shocked and outraged that this was happening to some of our country's most vulnerable immigrant women, janitors. AB 1978 will create a process to help educate workers in the janitorial industry on their rights and when it comes to sexual harassment and assault, including rape. This bill will also create a janitorial contractor registry, which will mandate that all janitorial contractors in the state of California register, providing adequate oversight for the industry. Today, we celebrate the valor of Las Promotoras and SEIU United Service Workers West for making this victory possible. Thank you very much, Paul Koretz and Nuri Martinez. You're wonderful.
Yes.
We have one for everyone.
Thank you very much.
A little bit of swag.
Good morning. My name is Jasmine Castillo. I'm the vice president at USWW too. And I'm one of the survivors too. When I was janitor a long time ago, I'm here. The most important for us, yes, we celebrate. But the fires continue. All these women in my back. They back. More strong. They left. The pain they left. The skirts, and that action we do, last week, in Sacramento, and we back. We have a lot of more work in the front. This is the first step in the way, to mobilize, educate and stop this reality in this industry. This is why we really happy, and thank you for all you guys, for the support, and the fight is continue, and this woman is really prepared as a promotoras to continue and educate and open, the door, for more women in this industry to stop the silence, break the silence, and enough is enough. Thank you for the support.
Okay, thank you very much. We do have a number of other speaker cards as well. Greg Onelol? Greg? Thanks for your patience. Come on up. Followed by Yvonne. Looks like Autry. And Pamela Porson. So those will be three. Greg? Yeah, come on. Good afternoon. Good morning.
Afternoon. Yes, my name is Greg Aniolik. I am a resident of Playa del Rey, and I'm also on the Playa del Rey Westchester Neighborhood Council. I co-chair the Public Safety Committee, and I see Mike has stepped out. But just wanted to mention that another City of Los Angeles Neighborhood Council election has passed, and new council members have been sworn in, and we were resuming business. And I've just noticed that there's an significant increased turnout in elections at neighborhood councils. Why? For an unpaid position? It seems as though influence is now growing with neighborhood councils, and I'm just concerned about the safety. I do have a letter summarizing my concerns about the neighborhood councils not necessarily having the security that city council has. And perhaps sometimes it would be best to have a police officer present at neighborhood council meetings. In addition, I do have concerns about the locations. I wish I could talk more, but
right.
I understand.
I wish I could have you talk more. Right.
Could I submit my
yes,
letter?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Consider it done. Thank you very much. Thanks for serving as well. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
It's Yvonne Michelle Autry. First of all, I object to the fact that we're limited to 1 minute. When Curran Price was on the City Council in Inglewood, we had, I think, 2 or 3 minutes. First of all, I'd like to speak in support of the formation of the Skid Row Neighborhood Council. We need that so that we can defend ourselves, especially, and represent and speak for ourselves, especially in the continuation of the regentrification of downtown. I'd also like, especially towards Skid Row and displacement of the people that are most needy. I'd also like to speak against the technology that is used to control, abuse, not just women, sexually, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And this technology has been proven and actually exposed. Naval Officer David Voigt, who was participating in these experiments, yes, he left the Navy, and he exposed the American government. So you are aware. I've made it. I've brought it to your awareness. And I'm not the only one speaking about the targeted
we're out of
individuals.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you, ma'am. Have a nice weekend. Okay, your microphone's been shut off. Can you have a seat? Now you're disrupting the meeting. Please have a seat. You're disrupting the meeting. Thank you very much. All right, final speaker, Pamela. Thank you for your patience, ma'am. Good morning.
Good day. I'm sure the City Council is striving to assist me in this matter since they have received the documents, reminding them of the perpetual easement relationship with the City of Los Angeles over Mulholland Drive. And I know they would never want to violate the recommendations of the city engineers in a landslide area in permitting an adjacent property owner without permits nor licensed personnel to be installing a gas line in substandard conditions by virtue of a revocable permit, which it appears now by this document was obtained fraudulently, and it appears that maybe the Public Works is also complicit in perpetrating fraud upon the surety bond holder. It's quite disconcerting when you see the provisions in these photographs of what can occur when people are excavating in areas that are not correct.
Great. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming as well. That concludes all the general public comment cards. Do we have any more announcements? I'll go ahead and turn it back over. I believe Mr. O'Farrell had an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, tomorrow morning at 9:30 in the 13th District, I am inviting everyone to meet me in historic Filipino Town for my next council member in your corner. We will meet at Rockwood Community Park, 1571 Rockwood Street, and we will walk with neighbors and members of my staff and distribute information to the surrounding community on how to access city services and contact those city departments that you might need for your own purposes at home or in your neighborhood. So again, please join me tomorrow morning for our Councilman in Your Corner at Rockwood Community Garden, 9:30, 1571 Rockwood Street in historic Filipino Town.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, any other announcements? Seeing none. Do we have any adjourning motions? Looking to my right, seeing none. To my left, seeing none. Then that concludes the council meeting. We are officially adjourned. Have a nice weekend and be safe.